5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now go home and get your shine box.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Go Get Your Shine Box. And that was supposed to be kind of a tribute to Tucker Carlson. But I don't know. Let me know how I did. Anyway, this is your host, Jim, and my other hosts, Joe and Paul.
Hey, how you doing? Central New Jersey. Pretty smoky today. I guess we got some fires up in Nova Scotia. We're like covered in smoke.
Yeah, I got somebody all over this. She's going to go put out the fire with some funky equipment that she's got. So we'll be good soon.
Well,
welcome back to Tucker. Also, New Jersey, up in God's country here in Northwest.
Yeah, it's the air quality is a little bit dank up north.
A little bit yellow.
Yeah.
Well, we got fires up in Nova Scotia, which is pretty far north from here.
Yeah.
But we also have some local fires in Jackson that are burning.
Yeah.
The woods are on fire, man, and it's like you go outside and you look up and you can't even see the sun. It's like it's crazy.
Well, it's ridiculous, and we all know why. And this is going to be a kind of an apolitical show, but the fact of the matter is, you don't want to do forest management, then you're going to have fuel.
Oh no! You've not seen the narrative. It's climate change, man.
Oh my God!
Oh yes.
We're not even going to.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of climate change.
I follow the news. I have my own news network, and I keep an eye on these things.
Oh, I know.
Well, I say the hell with climate change. So how's so Tucker? Did you see Tucker's show?
I did. Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even have a.
Well,
Twitter.
If you'd pay attention to all the wonderful stuff I put up on Signal, you would have seen it.
Yeah, you just have to click the link.
I don't have a Twitter account.
You don't need one. It'll still watch. You can watch.
I can still watch it, or I'll go look at it.
Like
I'll watch it.
64 million people, or something. 64.9 or whatever. I don't want to be.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So that was good for him.
Yeah.
Good for the South African.
Yeah, it's a right, and he kind of threatened Elon there. He said we'll be here as long as the freedom of speech thing is real. Well, so he was he shot one across the bow of Twitter there.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because Tucker is wealthy, but he's not Musk wealthy. So it's kind of like he's. It's like he has a pretty decent job, and he's talking to somebody who, but that's what you can do when you got that kind of money.
Yeah, and he's got other choices. He could go on Rumble or one of these other platforms as well. I'd like to see him do it on. I'd like to see them both, work something out on Twitter where this becomes a thing and brings down the freaking cathedral of lies.
That's where we're headed. Yeah.
But
he did. Elon did. He did say, "Hey, this was a success. I'd like to see more of this happen with." I don't know why I'm talking like that, but I'd like to see some of this happen with both sides, which is absurd because there's no both sides.
No, there isn't. I used to be that way. I used to be fair both ways. Not anymore. Fuck the Democrats.
But after what you see, that's going on, you can't say stuff.
Nah, they're scumbags.
There it is. I missed it. I'm a little late. So,
anyway. keep that.
Well, we shouldn't have to use the bleeping button today because this topic is. I'm gonna blame Joe, and that's a good and it's not really a bad thing because at the end of our show last week, we went off air like we usually do. And we go and do some behind the paywall stuff. Yes, we do some behind the paywall stuff. And if you go to buymeacoffee.com/shinebox, you can get involved and hear what we talk about. So while we're talking, Joe was like, well, I don't know if I'm quoting you, Joe, but let me know. Well, that sucked. And I'm like, what are you talking about? With all the work we put in, I thought that was one of our better shows. It's not that. Not that. It's the depressing. The whole thing is depressing.
It is. It really is depressing. We need to talk about something that's not depressing.
And you asked for it like an audience member, and you're a part of the show.
And I'm going to get it. What am I getting? I'm getting trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yeah. And we know what you're not getting, unfortunately. Not getting any clips, because I was going to do the vacation. What was that? Chevy Chase's Vacation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I did the rant. I listened to the rant. It doesn't go with the, shall we say, the PG theme of this show. So I was like, I didn't realize it was that bad. But yeah,
no, this is PG. You might want to edit something I said earlier. Then
we'll go back. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. I think I think we have a limit on what we can use and what we can't use. You know, we can say so many different kinds of words, and well, we should do a show on that. The words we can say, like you can use the F word like 3 times, within 45 minutes. You can use the ass anytime.
Dude, I've been practicing on Twitter. F words ain't the problem.
Yeah.
It's other things.
Hey, what was I?
Speaking of other things.
Yeah, speaking of other things.
Before we get into the fun stuff, I think Paul wants to do a little piece from the Dark News Network.
We got dark news?
Oh. Yeah, we got dark news.
They said with trembling voice. Yes. We have something from the Dark News Network. Breaking news. Atlanta police report that Saturday night around 3 a.m., some mischievous youths who had just got done studying for their college entrance exams at the local Waffle House broke into the Atlanta Zoo. You hear that? The Atlanta Zoo. Nobody was there. It was nighttime.
Yeah.
And they opened up the chimp enclosure. That's what it sounded like, yes. In a shocking replication of reality and a confirmation of Darwin's theory of evolution, the chimps, they spread out across the local suburbs, stealing catalytic converters, after which they pawned them off in exchange for having their fangs gold-plated and diamond studs embedded in their Glock 17s. Next day, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation performed an early morning raid of an Atlanta area young Republican club looking for the youths who had started all the trouble. And while they didn't find them, they still charged the kids with terroristic activities just to make the newspapers. So I'll be following this story closely.
Did they catch up to any of the chimps?
The chimps are at large. They're as a matter of fact,
these were young Republicans.
Reported to be white nationalist.
Yes, they were white nationalist. Okay.
All right, so we live in hell times. You know that.
So top 10 fun things to do this summer on a Biden budget. And you know what? You'd hear a show about the top 10 fun things to do, during the summertime because everybody's out of school and all that crap. And guess what? We're going to tell you how to do it on a Biden budget because right now the inflation rate, and this is the advertised inflation rate, is 6.6%. The adjusted inflation rate is probably near 13%. But I'm not going to break down the numbers for you. We're just going to dig right in.
Okay. Why isn't that working?
Who's going to go? You want me to go? Because I got one.
Joe,
you want to go? You want to go?
I want to go
right.
Because this is something I have to left because we were talking about it and it was in my notes to go on a choo-choo train ride, steam locomotive.
There you go.
And it was so funny because before we even discussed this, I was discussing with my bride that that's something that I wanted to do because here in New Jersey, up the Delaware River, in I think it's Phillipsburg.
It's right near Phillipsburg. I don't.
Right.
I remember. I know the name of the town. I just can't recall it. Yeah.
I think it is Phillipsburg. But anyway, they've got the Delaware River Railroad, and they run a bunch of different events, and you can go on just a cruise up and down the river for as little as $14 to $20 a person. Very, very cool. And they've got other events that you can do. They have trips like to a winery train. It obviously takes you to a winery. They got a corn maze train for the Halloween time. They've got
That's pretty
Dino
cool.
rides for kids. They've got the Polar Express, in the wintertime for Christmas. And the most expensive fare is the Polar Express, which is $38 and $48. But I mean that's like the high end.
Yeah,
And
the others are like movie money.
yeah, they're like $14 for children, $20 for an adult. And then you want to add an extra $8, and you can stop at the mine, and you can. It's actually pretty cool. The trains are cool. They've got a steam locomotive. They've got some diesel electric stuff. It's pretty neat. A fun time could be had for a really reasonable amount of money.
Yeah, those trains are pretty neat, actually. A little bit of history,
And I know I looked this up because I actually went online, and you can. There are all over the country. They've got these train excursions. I mean, depending on whatever part of the country that you live in, you go and you Google it, and you'll find that they have they call them scenic train rides. They have you can find dinner mystery movies on the train, and they do all kind of things all over the place. I know they had them out in Pennsylvania, up by Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, out by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and that's all within. I mean, say you're in Central Jersey. What is that? Hour and a half drive in total?
No, it is Central Jersey. Phillipsburg is by Easton, Pennsylvania. It's north of Trenton. So yeah, that's not far at all.
Well, not only that, but there's a lot of railroad track across the country. There's a lot of track that's no longer used. As a matter of fact, not only they have trains, they have these carts where you can get like a 2-person or a 4-person pedal cart and do little.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Do little trips. And the thing is, these are all good, clean fun. There's so much filth and disgust, in movies and in a lot of other things you're going to see. That's what we're trying to put together here. Something that's harkens back to a better time. And
it doesn't have to be family necessarily. It just could be you and your woman, or the kids, whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody loves a train. Come on.
Yeah. Kind of hard to find somebody who don't like it.
Right. Well, Paul sent me the NPS.gov, which is the National Registry of Historic Places.
Yeah, so, that's another thing.
Yeah, we'll put that up on the site or in the link at very least. But it's pretty cool. Go visit that site, and you'll see. Now, these aren't necessarily day trips, obviously, but you can find your locale.
Right.
And see what's right. And New Jersey, for example, has a great history. There's all kinds of stuff up there, as well as Florida.
And there's a lot of hidden stuff that is not, something you'll read about on the History Channel, but a local, curiosity or historical thing or whatever, little museum hidden away or something like that.
And I'll tell you, here's one for New Jersey that really fits the budget, but the Cape May County Zoo. It's free, and it's an awesome little zoo. I mean, can't tell you how many times I've been there.
That's within the budget for sure.
Yeah, it sure is. And what's nice about that, it's located in the park. So the park opens up at 7. I think the zoo opens up at 10, and the only day it's closed is Christmas. I mean, you can bring a cooler and pack your own lunch, bring your own food. I mean, you can really make it budget. Well, the zoo does have a restaurant inside that you can go to. I mean, it's hamburger hot dog restaurant.
Monkey meat. Yeah. What do they serve? What do you what's your gas prices down there? Up there?
I don't know. I don't pay for gas.
Mine just went up 20 cents the other day. It's $3.45.
Yeah, it's about $3.50.
All right, so we're paying twice for gas because don't forget this is the summer on a Biden budget, so we have to keep bringing that up.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Cape May is a pretty wealthy town, so you're not going to have the catalytic converter problem.
You don't have the catalytic converter daylight theft. Yeah,
and it's an easy Parkway South, exit 11. Okay, you're right there.
There you go. Is that's after Atlantic City, right?
Yeah, it's after Atlantic City,
which I personally do not. Suggest anybody go to.
Mile marker 0 is Cape May.
Yeah.
So it's 11 miles north of the end of the parkway. So
we're talking about basically these are day trips. That's a theme. They don't have to be day trips, but you don't have to spend an overnight. That's the thing. And
right.
by the way,
or you
everybody
could
listening, we may not have 10, we might have 15, we might have 14, we might have 9. So we just nobody wants to sit here and look at a tally that says, hey, we have 6, well, maybe 7. So however many we spit out, that's how many we have.
You know, it's got to think it. You know, this is in our area, in my area, and where you are in Florida, it's completely different.
Exactly.
I would suggest that you go to your local parks and recreation.
Yeah.
And I know that we have the next town over. They've got during the summer we have an outside. Well, not we do. They have an outside stage and they do concerts all summer long.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're really nice. So there are things all over the place.
Yeah.
You just got to get out there and look.
Go up. Yeah. Well, you got that list, right?
Every township is going to have a recreation department. Go there and take a look. You're going to have probably your county will have a 4-H group, which they put on animal fairs and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I also have a suggestion. I mean, if you're really in a place where they don't have anything, get together with your neighbors or spring for a couple $100 and buy a cheap projector and make your own movies outside in the neighborhood. And next thing you know, all the kids in the neighborhood are going to be coming by. I don't know. It could be you can start something, start your own thing. It'd be really cool.
Yeah. Throw on some dogs and burgers and throw out some chairs and have a good
time. It's funny because there's something called I probably should have put it in quotations, the COVID revenge spending that we're still experiencing. Because of the scam, and we were forced. Well, I say we. I'm trying to be nice. Personally, in Florida was pretty decent, but for the most of the Soviet American citizens, they were pretty hard locked down, and as a result, they didn't spend much money other than Amazon. So a lot of people are still out there vigorously spending money. And here's a little trivia for you. Right now, a family of 4 that has to fly in to go to Disney for a week, for a 7-day stretch. That includes the rental car, the passes, the food, the motel. It's up near $10,000.
It's nuts.
It's freaking crazy.
How about that Star Wars hotel they opened up? They're closing it down. It costs like a couple $1,000s a night to stay there or something.
You got to be a freaking geek. But anyway, there was I'm going to do a couple of particularly in Florida. This is let's just say Central Florida, within maybe an hour and a half drive. Obviously the beaches. That's tops.
Yeah.
You can just go. One nice thing about Central Florida, and when I say Central Florida, I'll even throw in St. Augustine, the oldest city in the country.
Can I throw something in before you continue?
Yeah, go
ahead. When people think of beach, don't just think of going there and roasting in the sun and swimming or whatever. Get yourself one of these high-performance kites, or at least a nice kite.
Yeah,
A lot of times when it's a windy day, you'll see all these people out there with cool-ass kites having a blast. Yeah. It's kind of a big deal, at least around here, and it's a cheap and fun thing to do.
Oh, yeah, kites. Yeah, it's huge. And
obviously
everybody
the kids love that. Yeah, right.
I mean, old men down to little kids. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, grown-ups, using these twin cable wire power kites that'll, launch you into the atmosphere,
It's pretty crazy.
But there's something for everybody. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah, the beaches. And, if you happen to, you're living down here, you might have a bike, you might not, but it's cool to just grab a bike and just ride up the beach because they're packed down here. And what I was going to say, the cool part about this part of Florida is it doesn't cost anything. You can park almost everywhere. I would say 95% of the beach parking in, like, say, maybe Flagler all the way down to, probably past Stewart. It's free. You go down to Miami or Lauderdale on the West Coast, you pull in somewhere, they charge you to park. They charge, it's absolutely crazy. But that's pretty cool. You just drive out and do your thing. And, you can take a walk and, obviously we, the kite thing and we, those types of things. Also, real popular is the Kennedy Space Center. And it does cost a little money if you wanted to go in and take the tour, but you can also, as you're going to the beach, you can go to the Kennedy Space Center and enjoy the models that they have outside as well.
Another note, at least around here, a lot of townships will put up maybe not the biggest, but a moderate fireworks display, like on a Wednesday night or something of that
And a
nature.
fair with it, maybe. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. There was one that Joe did. Joe bring this up? It had to do with planes, local.
No, I didn't, but I saw that you put that on there, and the only thing with that is like sometimes, look, airplanes are expensive.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
So this is not budget friendly. You want to go to a local airport, and it really depends on the airport. A lot of rural airports, you can go there, you can get airplane rides, and you can get pretty reasonable. But that's hit and miss. That all depends on your area. They used to do an introductory flight lesson for like $20. They take you up for like a half an hour.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I think that the introductory flight, if they do them, it's more like $60.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they went up. I mean,
everything
is so damn expensive. I mean, aviation gas is like $6 a gallon.
Wow.
The maintenance costs are high.
It used to be, Joe? How much was it under Trump?
Oh, it was $3 or something.
$3,
yeah. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot cheaper. Hey, listen, I remember back in the day, you used to rent an airplane for with full of fuel for $35 an hour. So
I used to rent helicopters just to joyride around the up and down the Everglades.
How much were they at the time?
At the time, it was expensive. It was like they were $75 an hour.
Yeah, forget it.
Well, ammo included?
Pardon?
Ammo included?
Ammo was not included, and you had to pay for your own gas.
You got to do that. Yeah. But the same Cessna that you could rent for $35, and this is back in like the mid 80s. Today, that same plane is, $150.
Well, I mean, everything's more expensive and cheaper and crappier. Candy bars are smaller and more expensive. That's the way it goes.
I do encourage aviation, though, but it's a little bit not budget friendly.
All right. Well, hey,
little high end.
Not all my stuff is a home run. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of home runs,
yes, I didn't even think of that. Local AAA or AA
baseball game.
Yeah.
That's always a good. Yeah, we got the Lakewood Blue Claws. You can go. You can get in there for $10.
And if you got kids, they'll let them run the bases during the 7th inning stretch or some crazy crap like that.
The minor league baseball is excellent. It's
I'm not a baseball fan because it's boring as heck. But the AAA games, the downgraded teams, they're a heck of a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah,
yes, they are really absolutely
anytime.
Yeah,
some guy who's struggling for $1,000 a month paycheck rather than some guy just signed a $250 million contract.
Oh well, and he's just that's horrible. Anyway, and with inflation, that's anyway. Around here, we'll go back and forth. Around here, one of the big things is nature trails, which are all over the place. All the parks have them. You have to be a little cautious. You don't want to deviate off the path too much, and you don't want to walk your little doggy near any open bodies of water.
I was gonna say the nature trails by you have to go armed.
I was gonna say carry 10 millimeter or
something big. Because something might like a wild boar might jump out at you, but
I don't care about the boars. It's the alligators I'm worried about.
Yeah, there's that. There was just this. I forget where it was. It wasn't far from here. A little kid was, and this is. I have to say this: if you come to Florida, there's a warning as you come in, okay, and it says "Welcome to Florida." That's the warning. So now, if you come to Florida, whether to live here, or you're just coming down for a vacation, or you're a snowbird, you're coming down for an extended visit, and you let your 4-year-old child walk your 2-pound dog near a freaking pond, you get what you get. You've been warned, okay? So
you've been warned. Welcome to Florida.
Yes,
that's the warning.
That's the warning.
That's the warning.
How about, hey, excuse me, but there's stuff here that'll eat you,
Well, okay, I don't know how bright you have to be to have a kid, right? Apparently nowadays not too bright, but this video was shot. This kid was probably 4 or 5. He's fishing, okay, standing on the edge of a pond. And I think somebody should have slapped his father. And he put the fish out there, and of course he's reeling it in. Nice size, it looked like maybe a little bass or something, about half a foot. freaking gator came up and took everything with him. The pole, the fish, everything,
Yeah, I'd be like, fine, you can have it.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Did you see the video of that guy that a gator snatched his dog and he jumped in and grabbed the gator and got his dog out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a psycho. You could have the dog.
Keep the dog.
I'll get another dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
No, it's
I know what you paid for your dog. Your wife ain't letting you let the dog go, dude.
She probably said after 30 years of marriage, you better go get that dog. What are you, crazy? So nature trails they are kind of fun. You see all kinds of crazy things. And there's a lot of parks around. The gopher turtles are pretty awesome. Disney Springs, and I'm not a big fan of Disney, but Disney Springs is around the park area, but it's free. You can go in and, of course, everything costs you money, but House of Blues is down there if you want to go in there. And it's cool to just walk around.
Yeah, I drove the amphibious cars over there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, they got the tethered hot air balloon.
They're unlike Disney in that there are no pedophiles there, or
you know what? I don't care where you go. Wherever there's kids, there's pedophiles. Like the guy who used to rob banks. What's his name? Sutton. His name's Sutton. He was one of the biggest prolific bank robbers of all times, and they caught him and they said, "Hey, Mr. Sutton, why do you rob banks?" And he said, "That's where the money is."
Yeah,
that's same thing. If there's kids around, that's where the pervs are.
Yeah, keep that in mind when you're sending your kids off to public school.
There is a problem with Disney Springs, though, is that one issue that I have, you're not allowed to carry concealed weapons in Disney Springs.
Well, I'll tell you what. You should see it now. I probably won't go back, even though I'm advertising for it, because if tourists come down, it's pretty cool. They force you now to park underground and then go through a series of metal detectors and searches for no apparent reason. So,
well, I could suggest some reasons, but
let's get down.
You might have to
let me jump to Bach Tower. If anybody doesn't know what Bach Tower is, there's about a 150-foot tower in the middle of this gorgeous, tranquil park, and it gives off of kind of a Tibetan vibe, and it's about an hour out of Orlando, I guess, and that's one of those places you can go. You could go do whatever you want. You want to do yoga, you want to have a romantic time, you want to just go by yourself and chill and get your chi back. That's the place to go, and it's absolutely free. And believe it or not, you guys are talking about wine and trains. We have wineries down here. So there's a few hills in Florida if you drive around 2 hours inland, believe it or not. And there's some winery and they're free. You can taste and walk and all that crap. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the bottom line is you just have to put a little thought into it. Search around, find things. You were mentioning the AA ball or whatever, and that reminded me. There's up near one of ours in Sussex. There's a themed restaurant. One of these 50s themed, like what was that movie? Pulp Fiction. Remember that with
right.
John Travolta and what's her name? And they go to that themed restaurant, something like that.
$5 shake.
Yeah, do a search for something like that. You're going out to dinner anyway. Find something different.
Yeah, there's a cool dessert place in Orlando, I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but if you can guess what it is, you win a prize. It's a themed dessert place. Put it that way, an adult themed dessert place. So,
I'll tell you what's kind of cool that I see a lot in Florida is that they got these party boats that you can go out on fishing, and then there's restaurants right at the dock. So when you come back, you take your fish into the restaurant and they cook it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to throw in the party boat thing. Everybody enjoys going out on the water unless, unless you have a problem with seasickness or something goofy.
Oh,
like
and even
that.
day fishing, that's a
Yeah,
great
you
time.
go out for a half a day, or take the family out on a little, a 3-hour tour.
Yeah, just a short little tour, and hopefully you get Ginger and Marianne on the island with you.
That's right. I'd prefer the fishing version, but not everybody's into that. You still get out on the water. There's something about the water. Uh, God made us mostly water. We do well when we're on water. It's like a stress reliever, a blood pressure medication. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what, but it's
And
good for the
I'm
soul.
going to add to that salt water especially has some real healing properties.
I mean, I know. I mean, it all depends on where you are. I mean, if you're in the middle, obviously you're not talking about salt water. But I have been on a couple of wine and cheese cruises in the evening, and you can find them around different tourist areas, but pretty reasonable. Like I remember spending like $30 to go out, for an evening cruise with wine and cheese, which is pretty nice. But again, out on the water.
Yeah, and you're talking about salt water. Now, first of all, majority of the population lives within X miles of salt water, but there are plenty of lakes. There are big lakes that are going to have the same thing. They'll have a evening cruise. They're going to be rivers where you can rent tubes or kayaks or whatever, and they'll take you upriver 10 miles, and you can float down the river. All kinds of stuff.
Wherever you could find a big body of water, because that reminds me, I was in the Finger Lakes one year, and we went on a dinner cruise on a boat in the Finger Lakes. I mean, wherever there's tourists, cool. And where you can always look around and find these things. Whatever part of the would be kind of cool if you can put it in the comments. If you can send some comments, what part of the country that you're from, and let us know what kind of things that are available by in different parts of the country.
Region.
Yeah.
I have a comment. Finger Lakes, there's a lot of wineries up there. I'm
starting
to sense a theme here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well, we did the we did the the winery tour there.
Okay.
It's wine and alligators.
It's a club. It's a club, huh? And I'm not in it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's great too because you don't do it yourself. You got to go on the bus because you can't be driving that because forget about it.
Right.
Yeah, take a. But anyway, there's to kind of wrap all this stuff together over and above, some of the suggestions we throw out there, and everybody knows this stuff. A lot of people have been doing it for years, but other people don't have the capital and they just want to try to save on top of saving. A couple different ways that you can combine what we were talking about, to save extra money and to be more frugal. To be honest with you, it sounds something like this. Like road trips that we were talking about are basically. Anything that you can travel and come back at the same day, because you're obviously going to save you're going to save a motel, which is very expensive nowadays, unless you want an infested roach motel. Couple other suggestions, in no particular order. Using a gas app. I'm not a big fan of apps, but if you use a gas app nowadays, and I'm trying to think, one that's out there off the top of my head, but like Gas Buddy.
There's a few of them, yeah.
It'll, especially if you're not familiar with the town, it'll give you the best prices of gas. And I remember in the days when gas was cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean under 70 cents, and people were still, they you know what I'm saying? They would still go and try to save a dime here or a penny here on gas. But if you, and I don't want to get too into the weeds, but if you recall, when the gas wars happened on three corners, it only went up a penny. It was a penny and then a penny. Now it's freaking 20 cents, at a time. But yeah, that'll help you if you're, you want to, no pun intended, you want to pinch pennies. And believe it or not, renting a car, especially if you have a membership like a Costco or something, one of those places that have the car rental specials, you can actually save money renting a car than taking your own vehicle. And over the course of time and expenditures, and especially if you have a car that you don't feel is going to, stay up. Or an older vehicle, something like that, like a 1988 Volvo. Obviously, here's you think this would be a no-brainer? Bring your own food.
Yeah.
Pack. It doesn't matter whether you pack a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a freaking gourmet shrimp cocktail lunch with a lobster tail. It's still going to be cheaper. And
right.
if you're taking your significant other with you, it's more intimate,
Yeah.
And not only that, but she might pack it for you. So
find a little
especially modern coolers today work so much better than they used to too.
And again, this ties in with what we're talking about. I know when I take the bike out, I try to get the most scenic roads I can. So sightseeing is something free. You guys have vista points all over the place up there.
Yeah.
And that's,
you call that a bike?
Actually, yeah. Actually, I was going to hit the beep button because it's a mother bike.
You should.
So
it's a Cadillac.
Yeah. What are you talking about? It's got power. It's got speed. It's got torque. It's got power. You said power already. I said power. When did I say power? I said power. Forget about it.
It's got remote door lock. So come on.
Yeah. So free attractions. We talked about that. Anything that's free out there. And there's a lot of stuff that's free. And there's also free for kids. We have a little flat track up the street. Kids under 12 can go for free, and you pay like $12. To go watch some cool old Indian flat track bikes.
Did I mention the horse racing?
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, you've got highlight and dog racing down there.
Yeah,
most places you're going to have a horse track somewhere. A lot of fun and not that expensive. You go.
It is a lot of fun. I was where the heck were we? I think it was Mohegan Sun or something. They had a horse track up we were in Wilkes-Barre. We were up there, and I couldn't keep Pam, and they were betting the ponies like $2 bets.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't win a nickel, but it's fun as hell.
You get yourself a program and fold it back in half. You know what I mean?
There you go.
You look like a pro
with it. Yeah. And you look at by the way, Paul, they did for some reason they voted out. There was a time limit on dog racing in Florida. And they didn't vote it back in. Whoever they is.
What do you mean they don't have it?
No, and I don't want to get political, but this mother freaking stupid waste of life, animal PETA activists, whatever the frig, got all and back to ESG. They got all their panties in a bunch. Ew, it's cruel. It's cruel to make dogs run around.
Are you kidding me?
No, not kidding.
Wow.
Oh, you mean no more? Here comes the bunny.
No, here comes the bunny.
Here comes the bunny.
That's right. Yes.
Nope, they freaking.
Oh, that was so much fun.
These stupid little scumbags who sit there and wake up in the morning miserable and go to bed miserable, and they walk around to make everybody else miserable. They lobbied to get rid of this, and there wasn't enough real sane people to go out there and vote for it because we all work. I don't have time to go freaking vote.
So all those horse tracks are empty now?
Dog
dog tracks?
A lot of them were dual use. So the local one up here, they just put in games. So this is the morality and the ignorance of these morons. We want to protect the dogs. So get rid of the dogs because that's cruel to make dogs run around apparently. But let's put in table games. So now we have a gambling problem.
Yeah, and we shut down dog racing, so now we got to euthanize 10,000 dogs, right?
Yeah, because you can't use them. You can't have them as pets because they're too high. They're too high strung. So these people make me sick. But anyway,
don't tell me that they outlawed dog fighting though. That's still available.
I think there's cockfighting still available too.
It's cockfighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I think
some guy just got whacked by a cock. Wait a minute. All right, that came out wrong. He died.
Hey,
a rooster
you can
killed
go buy
him.
a city pass.
A rooster killed him?
If you're
you've seen these guys. They put like blades on their spurs.
Oh, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. And then they walk around wild here. They have them in the little cities.
These are crazy, dangerous freaking roosters, man.
Well, I was walking in Key West, and I wasn't. I know what a cock and a hen is. And I'm walking down. It was in the morning. I'm probably walking down. I got my flip flops on. I got a Bloody Mary. It's crowded already. Because that's what Key West is. And this thing runs out in front of me, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's the biggest cock I ever saw!" And everybody turned around and looked at me like. And then I didn't realize what I said. Apparently that area is inundated with gay men.
That would gather some attention.
Did it West running your way? Where?
Oh, I know. I was like, oh my God. And it didn't dawn on me. Every other booth or stand you see on the street corner sells these keychains in the phallic symbol keychains. Let's leave it at that. Trying to be rated G here, but it's an odd town. Anyway, city passes. If you happen to be in a city, like I was in New Orleans, and you can get a freaking trolley pass, a week trolley pass for like $7, and you can get on it all day and night. You know, those types of things.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, don't do that.
Well, it was nice.
If you're in the city, just get out.
Get out.
Wait, New Orleans is a good city. I like New Orleans.
Right now it's changed. Let me put it this way: I wouldn't walk like 2 years ago. I wouldn't do the same thing 2 years ago today. That's how bad it is. Yeah, that's how bad it is.
I think New Orleans may have just overtaken Baltimore for the #1 murder capital in the United States.
It's because it's in your face and it's blatant, and you know that's the way it is.
Yeah, I was in Baltimore today, so.
Oh, God bless you. Yay, I'm glad you made it. You know,
I made it home.
Because you know, you're not allowed to defend yourself. That's for sure. So I think we covered a gamut. You know, obviously, you know, check your local listings, as they say.
Yes, and any ideas that you got, you can send to.
Yeah, you can definitely send them to our email, which is shineboxcontact
at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we'll put them up on 10mmm.org. That is 10 Mike. And come take a look.
Yeah, so guys, we will wrap it up tonight, and I hope you all enjoyed a less loud, less political, more kind of, you know, family show. Well, that was our attempt at it anyway.
We will return to the regularly scheduled apocalyptic programming next week.
Next week. In the meantime, keep the blue side up.
Keep them in the 10 ring. All right, guys, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.